Welcome back, Summoners. So we are into the picks and bans already for game number 3 on the casting table. Tonight is Chris and myself, Wolf. Let's kind of talk about what this third match is going to be. It's going to be ISG Rebirth up against the Saigon Fantastic 5.
Yep, and for ISG Rebirth, still looking for their first victory in the Grand
They are. You don't have to whisper that.
Unfortunately.
They can hear you because they're right over there.
I know, but I'm just trying to, just down-tone the fact that they are not really...
League of Legends is an exciting game.
Yes, it's exciting, but it's not
You roll your eyes at me. I saw that.
It's not very exciting for them if they are only looking for their first victory in the split so far.
Okay.
Okay, and Saigon Fantastic 5 kind of looking like the powerhouses to come into Group B that we kind of expected. And then they just dropped one game to March Esports, which we will see in action later on as well. So
and we have things to talk about them later on as well. So
yeah.
Once again, no surprise, mid lane bans coming in from the side of Rebirth, Twisted Fate and Kassadin, as well as the Pantheon in the jungle, something that Yushin or even Jungleology, the other jungler from Saigon Fantastic 5, is very comfortable on. Lee Sin and Braum being taken out from SF5. Let's see what the final ban is going to be on this red side team here.
Yeah, so a lot of options still open up for both teams actually. As the last one is going to be Yasuo, a very surprising one that comes out, but
3 Lulu first picks.
I mean, the most flexible picks of all time.
Flexibility.
So, I mean, she can bend her way around. She's pretty tiny for a Yordle, so why not?
That's true. Okay, let's see what SF5 has in store for us as they kind of hover over the Evelynn. So Lee Sin being banned out, Pantheon being banned out. Elise as well as Evelynn is still open. Rengar, another popular pick in the jungle, especially over in Korea. Let's see if SF5 decides to lock this one in, and what will their other pick be? Will it be an AD carry?
We might just see the Thresh.
It's probably Thresh. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about Thresh.
And mine is very proficient on. I mean, Sue very proficient on Thresh as well, so not too surprising.
Right. So here we have, first pick Lulu.
Yeah.
All 3 games, and the other side will definitely pick Thresh. That's the trend today at least.
Yeah. So I think what ISG Rebirth might be looking at right now is to actually just choose the jungler, or actually go for Lucian as well, because still one of the big contested picks, and of course go for Jax as well,
Jax is open.
Still left open and still has one of the strongest dueling capabilities, especially in the current state of the League of Legends competitive scene.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so a whole bunch of flavor of the month locked up on the side of ISG Rebirth, and it looks like an extremely solid composition.
So far, so good for the side of ISG Rebirth. Floater extremely comfortable on the champion. Let's see what SF5 will be going for in the next 2 picks. They want to pick the Shyvana as well as the Twitch. They are thinking about it. Shyvana does decently well against Jax in the top lane, can provide a lot of that crowd control to the team of Saigon Fantastic 5 with the Dragon's Descent. Of course, Twitch, like you said, a lot of flavor of the months being picked here. So yeah, they've locked in Twitch, no surprise there at all. Having that ambush and the rat-a-tat-tat coupled with the engaging potential of Thresh, Evelynn and Shyvana will help the Twitch quite a lot.
Yeah, so here comes the interesting point of the game. I think Vera might just go back to that Zyra
Go
pick
back to
again.
his roots, basically.
I saw what you did there. Yeah,
Yes.
go back to his roots and go for the plant lady Zyra here. But the question is, what will Wei-Jie pick up for himself? If he decides to go with the jumper, it's not something that we have not seen before. He is not playing one of those Flavor of the Month junglers. He could have still gone back to Elise. We have seen play a couple of Elise games in the Legend Circuit, which is the Singapore Malaysian promotional tournament, but they still have some time to think about it. And I
quite surprised if he wouldn't go for the Elise, because it is a champion in which Wei-Jie is very comfortable on.
Yeah, and the fact is that Rebirth needs some sort of early game presence. I'm not saying that Jarvan doesn't have that in his kit, but Elise would have been a much stronger choice when it comes to those early jungling skirmishes, and it opens up the option for you to go for counter jungling as well as you go out against Eve in most of the parts.
Definitely. I mean, the idea here is that, Insidious Gaming, or both the teams, Rebirth and Legends, seem to kind of prioritize this Jarvan in the jungle a lot, and I know that Legends didn't really pull off their composition all too well because they kind of got shut down by SAJ in the early game. Let's see if Rebirth is able to kind of use the Jarvan pick to kind of use it to full effect. I mean, we know that Jarvan has the ability to kind of be aggressive in the early game and can use the Cataclysm to lock someone in, and that will definitely help Jax, that will definitely help Lulu, and that is most definitely going to help Zyra. And enough about that a little bit. Let's see what Saigon Fantastic 5 decides to go in. It's going to be the Jace pick. It's a very Vietnamese flavor, this Jace here.
Yeah, but I have to say I am quite surprised that they chose to go for the Jace pick over here, because if you look at the end, the receiving end for ISG Rebirth, there's a whole bunch of disengage. There's the Cataclysm that's going to come in from Wade said it's going to create this gigantic zone that Jace won't be able to pass through. I mean, he can, you know, just do that jump and then just leap into action. But then again, there is that Wild Growth, there's the disengage from Zyra as well. So very surprising pick. So I think the reason why SF5 have chosen to go for this Jace most probably in the mid lane goes to show that they kind of want to play a little bit of a siege composition even, just to throw in that little bit of siege elements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to kind of question something though. Minus is holding an Ignite. Is that him forgetting to change his summoner spell, or are we going to see 3 Ignites on the side of Saigon Fantastic 5?
It could also be the indication that they want to go for very early fights, and having that Ignite on their end just means that they can actually get that extra bit of damage to go for the execution, which is something that you want to have if you are definitely going to go for this brawling composition. But
he changes up to the heal at the last moment, so no surprise there, nothing out of the ordinary at least. So let's kind of run through the team comps before we get into Summoners Rift. On the blue side is going to be ISG Rebirth playing Jax in the top lane being played by LY4. In the jungle is going to be Waitia on Jarvan. Floater in the mid lane playing the Lulu. Lucian and Zyra in the duo lane being played by Valkyrie and Vera.
Okay, so something I want to comment on the Rebirth team so far and their progress in the Garena Premier League.
Okay.
So if we look at some of their picks and bans in the last couple of matches that they had, it was disconnected in one way or another. It could be the fact that they were forced into some of these champions that they were not too comfortable with, or that you know, they are playing something that they are pretty much just left, the only few options left for them.
Okay.
But this time around they have a lot of tools that's going to be synergizing very well for themselves.
Yeah, that's right.
Especially now that you do have that Jax and Lulu combination, that's going to scale up into the late game to be such a formidable threat. And considering the fact as well is that they have a lot of zone potential from the Girlands.
And a good engaged team as well.
Yeah, and a good engaged team. So I like the Rebirth composition right now because it's very versatile. You can do a lot of, you can explore a lot of options with these 5 champions up in your pool. Whereas on the side of SF5, they were looking like they had a sort of a setup composition with the Eve and having the Shyvana as well. So the Agony's Embrace and of course the Dragon's Descent can set things up.
Yeah, it's interesting that they decide to lock in the Jace as the final piece. I mean, that doesn't really fit into the puzzle all too well.
Yeah, that's the biggest question mark that I have for the Saigon Fantastic 5, and let's see if that's gonna actually hinder their progress in the advancement and might actually give Rebirth their first chance to obtain a victory in the Garena Premier League. But that being said though, Saigon Fantastic 5, other than their loss against Marchi, they have been looking all too solid. Looks like they look like the team to sort of be the powerhouse coming into Group B.
Yeah, compared to the 2 Saigon teams, a lot of us have been saying that, you know, the Saigon Fantastic 5 is the stronger of the 2, so we'll have to see. I mean, like I said, you know, Jace doesn't really fit into this comp all too well, at least we both think so, and you know, I don't want to doubt the pro players because they do play this game professionally, they play this game for a living, and I really want to know what their idea here, their team composition is for the side of Saigon Fantastic 5.
Yeah, that's right, and actually we do see
oh wow,
stealing away the blue buff, and I'm not too sure what was the situation over here. Yushin blew the smite as well, so great advantage going over to LY4 2 minutes into this game. So great start for them, and that might just be the breakthrough of what they need to secure the advantages over Saigon Fantastic 5.
Yeah, and because of that blue buff pickup in the bottom half of, or the top half of the map by LY4, That just means, you know, he gets to that level too early. He can have the ability to try to bully out QTV, and Jax is not known to be one of those lane bullies in the early game. Floda actually making the roam up here. Yushin does not have his smite and, you know, will be chased out of his own jungle. You know, this white camp now just getting smited away by Wei-Jie. Oh my goodness, so much damage from the glitter lens. Great early game start. Let's take a replay at that steal. Let's see how LY4 actually got this one. So
yeah, I'm very curious as to how this actually happened. So let's see. There is a ward over there, and let's fast things over a little bit quicker. And it was a counter strike that just easily picked that up, and I think
counter strike and auto attacks. I mean, Yushin did not have his smite up for the final amount of burst damage coming in.
Yeah, and in that sense, I think it's the preemptive efforts from Rebirth that's really paying off, and holding up in the top lane, a bunch of damage going down to QTV as now he has to back off. The
3 ability combo by Jax in the top lane with a blue buff just means like LY4 can constantly press E with the counter strike, go in with an empower strike, and then, you know, if he needs to close the gap a little bit more, just throw down the leap strike as well. Once he hits that level 6 mark though, with the Grandmaster's Smite, every turn attack will allow him to continually harass QTV even more, and giving a Jax such an early lead in the early game is just super dangerous.
Yeah, Wei-Jie will be spotted out by that ward, just conveniently placed that, you know, the super kind of missed as well. But looking down at the bottom lane, we do have Minus going up against Valkyrie in this direct matchup. And looks like Valkyrie actually making full use of that advantage to sort of deal some damage down to him. And of course, having Vera as well, who's going to be ever so annoying with those plants, dealing you know, damage from the sidelines as well.
LY4, you know, really a veteran in the top lane, just showing how experienced he is. Oh wow, we have a gank coming in from Wei-Jie. Nearly saw Vera land those grasping roots. He did get those 2 plants up, but nevertheless, you know, flash burned now by Su, and the pause coming in. But overall, Wei-Jie has gotten a perfect start in the jungle. They have denied Yushin a buff, and Wei-Jie is the first jungler to pressure a lane and cause, you know, some of the abilities to tilt towards the Rebirth side. Flash being blown here by Su, of course, in the bottom lane.
Yes, and I believe the big changing point in this game is the first big play that's going to happen is when a couple of camps later, when Wei-Jie actually picks up that level 6. Because of the fact that Yushin was denied away one of those buffs, it only means that he will hit level 6 at a later stage. And if Wei-Jie is able to capitalize on that, go for that level 6 engage first, then it's going to build a good advantage for Rebirth, and then hopefully they can snowball things from there. But right now, Yushin actually making his movements up into the top lane, trying to look for a sneaky engage down onto LI4. But now, you know, in the end, decides to disengage and port away from that tri-brush.
Yeah, I mean, Yushin there did go for the counter jungle, so he's just trying his best, to the best of his abilities, to try to claw back himself into this game. And like you said, it's important power spike at level 6. So Wei-Jie now putting down a vision wall will spot that stealth ward out. But like you said, whichever jungler kind of hits the level 6 first and gets that power spike in terms of the Agonies, Embrace, or the Cataclysm can kind of shake up the game quite a bit.
And actually Wei-Jie making some movements into the enemy junglers. Not going to spot out Eve doing his, the Wolf Camp though. Wei-Jie trying to make a presence down the bottom lane, but will get spotted out by that ward as well.
He does use the sweeping lens to clear that one out. Vera and Valkyrie doing a rather good job of trying to push Su and Minus into the lane as much as possible. I mean, nice use of that. I believe it's the Piercing Light. That's right, I was about to say Light Slinger, but Light Slinger is this passive. Nice use of the Piercing Light to try to harass and try to chunk down those health bars in the bottom lane there. So the trick shot by Lucian really works out when you manage to land it.
Something I want to mention about this Jarvan in the composition as well is, if you look at it, there's a lot of AD damage that's going to come through from the Saigon Fantastic 5 with that little bit of mixed damage from Eve and the mixed damage from the burnout from QTV. But other than that, the bulk of the damage from Saigon Fantastic 5 is going to be physical, and it just means that Wei-Jie is going to be able to block a huge amount of those damage, especially Jarvan has that passive armor from the flag as well. And if Rebirth chooses to itemize into very early armor items, it just means that it's going to be quite difficult for Saigon Fantastic 5 to break through and to get those big damages down. And considering the fact that there isn't a lot of execution potential, there is only that poke damage from Jace, it is something that Saigon Fantastic 5 has to worry about. And right now, look at Rebirth all across the board having CS advantage, and right now that has brought them to a 1,000 goal lead without even any kills on the board or even any major objectives.
Yeah, I mean, overall right now, IGR Rebirth quite happy to kind of just sit in lane, farm as long as they can, and try to get those power spikes up. Once LY4 hits a certain level, once they manage to get, you know, those big abilities down and hit those power spikes for the side, SF5 will, you know, be in quite a bit of a trouble. Ooh, wait here, you're actually going in a collapse. QTV in a big of trouble. Oh, we have the first blood coming in. Wait is the first one to go down. Floater has to flash away, but he's gonna get killed by the Dragon Lady and her burnout. Now LY4 trying to deal it with Optimus. QTV coming in from the side, uses a ward and leaf strikes out of there. Sidesteps the shock blast. Optimus unable to pick up another kill, so a little bit greedy, actually quite greedy there from the side of IGR Rebirth, going in and trying to steal away the red buff.
Yeah, that's right. And if you look at the entirety of the fight, it's primarily because of the fact, actually we will have a replay to sort of break down what happened over here. If you look at it, it was a setup. Weitia wanted to go for QTV over here, but he was not tanky enough, and in the end, the burst damage from Optimus as well as QTV from the Dragon's Descent was able to bring them down. LY4 brings back one more kill on Rebirth's end, but in the end he still had to back off against Optimus. So the idea was there, but they did not have the damage to do so, and considering the fact that there is not enough damage still built up on LY4, it's going to take a while before they can bring those fights again. Now Yushin sneaking around, a very sneaky attempt right here, and let's see if he will get caught out at all as now Floater fights him out.
Alright, nice glitter lands onto both Yushin and Optimus. They can just turn around. Oh, in the bot lane though, Vera gets killed there by the combination of Minus. Minus just escaping with a sliver of health. There we see the passive from the Zyra coming into effect here. The Plant Lady will have a revenge. Not just yet though, Minus now. Oh, we actually have a teleport from the back line.
Wow,
QTV wants to make the wrapper out. Valkyrie actually gets hit by the hook. That's an easy auto attack by QTV. Getting baited into that one. Let's take a look at how the death in the bottom lane happened. Vera here though. Let's take a look. Wow, nice death sentence.
Yeah, it's a death sentence. Even though the Strangleforce eventually came through, there was not enough follow-up from Valkyrie in that one to secure the final effect, the attack down onto Minus over there. So in the end, SF5 came out ahead in the exchange, went ahead to pick up the Dragon as well. That will propel their goal lead to about 1,500 gold so far in this one. And now LY4 aggressively shoving up in the top lane, trying to react to that Dragon pickup with at least a turret for themselves. But QTV is going to be returning to lane very shortly, so he should be able to at least defend that for a short while.
Wow, Optimus really chunking down Floater there with his acceleration gate shock blast combination. I mean, this Tony Stark here with that skin really just dealing so much damage with his Iron Man costume, of course.
Yeah, but of course. And I think it might be the fact that Floater hasn't played against Jace for a while now. It might be a case of that he's not too familiar on how to lane up against Jace.
Yeah, that matchup is very rare, honestly, nowadays.
Yeah, so it might be because of that. That's why we do see Optimus leading in terms of creep score over here. Is 27 in his favor, and now up in the top lane.
Yeah, that's right. LY4, just like I said, having that Grandmaster Smite just means you can really stack a whole bunch of burst damage. Try to, you know, get 2 hits onto the minions, pop your counter strike, wait for the leap strike to happen, go in with an empowered Q as well as that Grandmaster Smite third attack. Oh, Valkyrie needs to be really, really careful. The flame coming back in. Vera now, Minus takes a whole bunch of damage. Actually gets the pop-up by the Strangletons, but now Vera's gonna go down. Oh, but they do trade with Yushin though. Su now actually interrupting this one, but at the same time, Wade's here coming in with the Flag Lance combo. Allows Valkyrie to pick up an easy double kill. And in the meantime, of course, we did see LY4 and QTV duel it out in the top lane. Dragonair flashing over the gigantic wall. Let's take a look at the fight in the bottom lane though. Chris, take me through this one.
Right, I really like the movements of Verondell. If you look at it carefully, he maneuvered around in a very smart position, got the damage down to Yushin, so even though he went down in the process, it just allowed Valkyrie as well as Weitia to follow through very easily. So great, very good play from Vera over there. And first up in the top lane, we did see that man-to-man, one-to-one fight. Yeah, the great escape as well, with that flash over that huge chunk of terrain for LY4 to get out of there. And, down in the bottom lane, that's building up some advantages for Valkyrie in that one. And something is for certain, if Valkyrie gets ahead in the laning phase, he has a very good awareness when it comes to this team fighting phase. So he should be able to build up much more rapidly as compared to Minus now. So even though he does have the Blade of the Ruined King completed, that's going up against the raw damage of the Bloodthirsters. And do remember, this is still the 4.9 patch, so the Bloodthirsters changes aren't in effect yet, so still dealing a whole bunch of damage.
Yeah, that's right. So 4.9, as you have said, Chris, but it's interesting to kind of watch how Rebirth and SF5 have been playing out this game. So Rebirth kind of showing a little bit of their old game style back into this game at least. Being very aggressive, trying to go for fights, trying to steal buffs. But that's kind of backfire on them. And, Saigon Fantastic 5 just, keeping their heads calm, cool, and collected. They are just going in and trying to deal as much of that.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Valkyrie just easily dodges in and out. Yeah, that's right. So
Weitia making the rotation though. He's gonna be spotted out by that vision ward. Yeah, he's gonna figure that one out. That's in the rush there. But like I said, SF5 really keeping their head cool and just playing. Say, hey, this is easy gaming for us. We just have to just chill out and walk up, use the poke damage that we have from Optimus and use the flank potential from the rest of our team.
Yeah, this is a pretty good rotation coming in from SF5 though. They actually bring the mid lane second tier turret down to about 50% HP, which means that they are going to have a much easier time to siege that up when they revisit that lane.
The vision wards come, or at least the vision coming in from Saigon Fantastic 5 in the top half of the map. So much vision that they have. And wow.
Hold on!
Yushin gets caught out. They're gonna go in with the flash. Optimus just dealing a whole bunch of damage. Grandmaster's might there. Will Optimus be able to get that final acceleration shock blast?
Wow,
oh, actually just gets the shock blast. Now the turnaround. Vera gets a pop out onto Optimus. Vera actually gets a kill onto that one with his plants. And let's see if the chase is gonna continue. Does not have the Frost Queen's claim. That actually has not been upgraded just yet. And IG Rebirth just capitalizing on the over aggression here by SF5. So I was kind of saying that they were calm, cool, and collected. But this replay will show us why they're not so calm, cool, and collected.
Okay, so if you look at this clip over here, I have to comment on Yushin and Optimus with a very snip-snap response to LY4. I almost thought for a fact that Yushin was going to go down. And then look at this over here. The Q misses onto LY4, so he would get out there. And meanwhile, back onto the live camera, QTV making the escape from this 3-man gank attempt, so he will get out there. And actually, just to round up the last replay over there, Vera with a very
sidestepping that shock blast as well.
And Vera with a very timed response, so he will pick that one kill up for himself, having the blue buff as well, which means a bit more harassment on his end.
Yeah, trait of a good Zyra player is when you manage to put down the Strangle Taunt with your plants on it, because when the Strangle Taunt it acts as a fertilizer and grows your plants to a humongous size. Gives that additional attack speed and even damage to kind of rain down on your opponent.
Yeah, but he still has to be very, very careful though, because we did see that acceleration shock blast combo bringing him down to about half of his HP with the exchange and still taking some more harassment. And here comes Weitia. Actually, LY4 lips, we might just see the fight break out as Rebirth is here to clean up what SF5 started with in the first place.
Really close there. The teleport coming from LY4. He goes to the lane and now Weitia in a whole bunch of trouble. Will soon be able to land a death sentence. That should be on cooldown.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic root. Just kind of stops QTV mid-flight, sort of. When he lands, he just gets rooted. He's not going to be able to chase down to Weitia. IG Rebirth pick up the dragon right under SF5's nose, and let's see if SF5 can punish them for that, because they're all quite low now.
I think Rebirth might just have to give this up away. But instead, LY4 will leap into action, maybe keeping the turret alive a little longer. As I say that, SF5 will decisively pick that up for themselves. So, still maintaining the goal lead, 1.7 thousand ahead of Rebirth now. But if you look at it, Rebirth having a much better game than the previous games that they had before. And Vera has been very on point with his root and his Strangled Pawn so far. So, if SF5 ever lets down on their guard, Rebirth should have the chance to go in and capitalize on that. The good thing on their end is that they have this late game skilling Jax, and they have the Lulu who's going to be able to bring a lot of utility to the table once, you know, those big items get locked up on his end. But the thing though is that he is down by almost 50 CS as compared to Optimus.
Oh, Floater actually getting caught there, has to burn the flash. Agni's Embrace being used here by Yushin, and you know, that's not really gonna do all too much for the side of the Saigon Fantastic 5 team. Actually, Rebirth though, you know, even though they might be behind in terms of turrets and maybe a kill, the gold difference is not that big. I mean, it's about 1.5 thousand gold in SF5's favor. 18 minutes of this game is not a whole bunch, and if they can continue to prevent SF5 from getting any more kills, getting any more objectives, and take objectives of their own in the form of turrets, IG Rebirth has a very fair shot of winning this game still.
That's right, and we were sort of discussing this in the pre-game as well, between Rebirth and Legends, these two Insidious gaming teams under the organization. Legends were originally known to be the team with a stronger early game control, whereas Rebirth, they are the team to
be aggressive, continue to engage, but
yep. But in that sense, they in terms of the timeline wise, their first 15 minutes of the game might not be as strong as Legends.
Definitely.
Yeah, their dragon control might be a little bit weaker, and the objective control as well. But whenever they get to the stage where they get some major objectives, they are not afraid to actually bring the fight to the opposing team. And this might be the case against Saigon Fantastic 5, but in that sense, Saigon Fantastic 5 are one of those teams to come in as one of the powerhouses to know how to deal with this sort of stuff. So let's see if they will be able to deal with this later on against Rebirth. You know, even though we are kind of saying that, you know, Rebirth can have the capabilities to come with the fight and all that, but SF5 are still the ones with the goalie, so do not be mistaken about that.
Oh, actually, LY4 misses the Counter-Strike stun there. But yeah, as you kind of have said, I mean, Rebirth, you kind of talk about it in the pick and ban phase, that Rebirth really didn't get any sort of good picks and bans, especially in their first 3 games or so. Ooh, Grandmaster's Might and the ultimate for Dragon's Descent being popped here by QTV in the top lane will not result into any kills though. LY4 dangerously low on health. But I was kind of talking about it, or you were kind of talking about it, that, you know, IG Rebirth finally got some picks in which they're comfortable with, and I really like these picks because I remember the IG Rebirth team from the TLC. Oh wow, before I talk about that team though, QTV getting taken down very low. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Or is it? LY4 actually just kiting around Yushin. And then we have that turnaround kill with the empowered strike there. The snipe coming in from Optimus with the shock blast through the acceleration gate.
Yeah, that's right. But overall, until the acceleration shock blast happened, it was a very good kite around from LY4 over there. But SF5 coming back into this game to recapitalize on what just happened. But meanwhile, let's take a look at what happened in the top lane. So if you take a look at, we are fast forward. There we go. Okay, so QTV getting brought down low over here. LY4 picks up the first immediate kill, and the heal from Valkyrie definitely helping out LY4. A very clutch one at there as well. And then LY4 jumps back to the fray, gets smacked on the face, and look at this. Slow motion, Q down, accelerated, bam!
He didn't have a vision on that one, I believe. Did he?
He didn't.
Don't think he did.
It was a blind one.
That was a blind one, definitely. I mean, he even used his flash. I wouldn't say he's wasted because he got a kill.
Yeah, but exactly that's the case.
I finally get to talk about ISG Rebirth team comp and their own playstyle. I mean, back in the TLC, they were always a team that fell behind early game.
Yep.
But never ever stopped fighting. They always pick the perfect opportunity to fight, and I'm seeing a little bit of that old Rebirth style in this team comp.
Oh wow.
They haven't been executing their fights, they haven't been picking their fights all too well, I have to say. But they have the ability, they have the tools to kind of use that or channel that, you know, old school style of how Rebirth plays in the TLC to try and, you know, match it against all these bigger teams in the GPL.
Yeah, so in that sense, LY4 is going to be very happy with that 2 kills that he did pick up earlier, so we'll be scaling later on, but SF5 still putting the foot on the acceleration pedal on the driving seat, trying to force the Baron over here.
Vera gets caught, he gets melted. The zombie plant lady will try to hit as many people with his passive, actually misses completely onto that one. The blue team's turret actually got taken down, I believe, in the
mid lane.
In the mid lane, yeah.
So
wow, there's no vision. Gets hooked in. The jungler will go down, and this gives the complete green light to SF5. So much so that they can try to take the dragon. Oh, we have Minus actually flashing over. The culling being used here. Double kill now for Minus. 2 members on the side of ISG Rebirth has gone down, and SF5 are just once again baiting for this dragon.
Oh, once again, the death sentence lands. This time on
3 for 3 death sentence. LY4 will get a leap strike out and escape with his life. But Minus here, not Minus, sorry, Sue here doing a fantabulous job of landing death sentence after death sentence, creating the pings, and we have a teleport coming in.
Yeah,
teleport from LY4, will they be able to interrupt this Baron this time? This Baron is going down dangerously low. LY4, oh, fantastic strangle toss, knocks up multiple people. Can the cleanup occur though? It's gonna be a 4v2 situation. Valkyrie uses the Relentless Pursuit to get in onto this one. Vera and Waitia are the only 2 members alive that can kind of stop this one. Vera is gonna go down as well. Waitia gets hit by one of those acceleration shock blasts, but he has to flag Lance combo away.
Yeah.
Valkyrie takes down Yushin and Sue. Let's take a look at this replay though.
Yeah, so SF5, after that whole series of catches that they set up around the Baron Pit area, they continued to finish off this Baron, and honestly it was a very big gamble because ISG Rebirth could have stole that away, but eventually they did come out with that one. And then this was the cleanup that was just coming through. Valkyrie dashes in aggressively into the lines of Saigon Fantastic 5. He knew that he was just going to go down, so trying to deal as much damage as possible. So Vera here gets caught out as well with the shock blast.
Ow! Look at that one. Waiting gets taken down in the top lane. QTV using the Dragon Descent and the auto attack as we actually just saw Minus trying to take this one down. So Dragon Pit being slayed, Dragon Lady dying in the top lane as well.
Yeah, so a lot of back and forth action, and I have to commend Saigon Fantastic 5 on their decision making in this game so far. Because if you look at it, they just needed one big breakthrough. And that whole series of baits that they did set up around the Baron Pit area was just perfect. You know, Rebirth got caught off guard. You know, Vera was the first one to, you know, just go down over there. And then subsequently, we did see Waitia jump into the pit as well. So it became a numbers advantage for Saigon Fantastic 5. They went in, finished off the Baron, and then had that 3-2 exchange. So everything's now swinging in their favor. 6,000 goal lead. That's going to separate these 2 teams. We will have a replay to see what happened. That happened up in the top lane, actually, that Waitia went up against QTV.
Also, Waitia actually got harassed down here by QTV. Decided to stick around way too long, and, you know, that was just bad decision making overall. Really, I think he wanted to bait QTV in, but he completely underestimated the damage that QTV could put out.
Yep, and you know, something that's a little glaring from Waitia as well is that, yes, you are Javelin and you have that extra armor that's coming through from your the Master Standard, but you need some sort of health to back up that resistance. And if you look at his items now, he has that boost of mobility to move around the map a lot more, yes, and you know, you do have the Elder Lizard to give you that burning damage, that damage over time, and having the Hex Drinker is going to help a bit as well, but you do not have any health. He's practically just running it on base health now, so that's why we see in those engages, he couldn't just soak up any damage at all. He just dashes in and then he just melts out immediately to any form of burst damage, especially from Optimus.
SF5 showing why they are the veterans of the Garena Premier League, and you know why they are quite clear favorites to make it out of the group. And their team composition is actually quite interesting. I mean, I don't really see the point of having the Jace in this team, but look at that. Every time a Shock Blast lands, it gives opportunity for either QTV or Yushin to make that flank, disrupt their retreat path, and just clean up. I mean, that seems to be the game plan for Saigon Fantastic 5. And the picks being made by Su over and over again using those death sentences really are turning the fights around for Saigon Fantastic 5.
Yep. 2 turrets simultaneous push for the side of Saigon Fantastic 5. They take up the top lane as well as the bottom lane second tier turret. And look at Optimus and what he's doing now.
Oh wow, has to flash out of that one. Fantastic death sentence. Valkyrie is the first one to go down. Waste there, pops the Cataclysm only onto Minus. That's not gonna do all too much. Minus gets a kill. He's on a killing spree. Optimus in the backlines tries to do as much damage as possible. Minus gets a double kill. This might be the final push for SF5 here. Floater dangerously low. Will the death sentence land?
Wow.
Whimsy will be used to sidestep that one. All 5 members of Saigon Fantastic 5 is still up. Optimus tanking up a little bit too many turret shots. Will the Glitter Lance be able to land?
I think this is just going to be the final push over here. The first Nexus turret has already gone down.
Oh, they're actually going to back off.
Fantastic 5. Yeah, I'm going to choose the safe way. Going to choose to back off. And I don't actually blame them because the game is still relatively early. 28 minutes in. The respawn timers are not that long of that. So Saigon Fantastic 5 hanging dearly to the advantages that they have built up. So going for the safe option here, backs off, probably to do some shopping and then come back to try to close off the game with the items not complete on their end.
Yeah, let's take a look at that fight. And Chris, kind of take me through this one. I mean, Optimus managing to survive that early burst damage. And Minus...
At first I thought it was a bit funny that he just decided to face tank the turret, but it might even just be the bait for Rebirth to think that they have the advantages and then just go in for the fight. But Saigon Fantastic 5 turned the fight around very effectively and a great use of that box as well. I once again have to commend Su on that one by understanding how to fully utilize that fresh to either create the zones or to make the picks happen, and that was exactly that gave Saigon Fantastic 5 that little bit of advantage that they need to close off the fight. And then taking out the Nexus turret as well means that there's even more pressure on the side of Rebirth to defend that bottom lane.
I have to kind of say that at the start of the fight, when we saw LY4 jump in, Su immediately repositioned himself to land the death sentence onto Valkyrie, taking him out of the fight immediately from the get-go. And Su has been playing a fantastic fresh game this entire game.
Yeah,
2 and 11. He's just doing a superb job all around.
Yeah, if you look at the position for SF5 now, what they're trying to do is to sneak to the blue side of Rebirth's jungle over there because they knew for a fact that QTV is going to shove in. So they expected Rebirth to make a reaction to move into their own jungle, but instead they were already setting the trap there. So looks like Rebirth did not activate the trap card for SF5, but it's still a very difficult push to try to defend against.
So much damage, having the Mana Mune on top of the Last Whisper and the Bloodthirster. Optimus is just going to be chunking for so much damage.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see the full combo.
Every time I hear that sound, that sharp piercing sound telling you that someone gets taken down really low, you know it's from Shock Blast Acceleration Gate combo from Optimus.
Yeah, and this is a double lane simultaneous push, but hold on.
Wow, this might be the final stand here from ISG Rebirth. The Strangleton's popping up 2 members, forcing the back. But then we see Su landing once again, another death sentence. The Dragon's Descent coming in. We have Shyvana trying to be the Dragonborn now. Sorry, we try to see ISG Rebirth being the Dragonborn because they are unable to pick up QTV in the lane. They're going to turn it around, and a nice knockback here by Optimus. He's still full of HP. Valkyrie actually in the backlines dealing so much damage. Will be forced to flash away. They do manage to pop the Guardian's Angel from Optimus, but him being alive means he can constantly chuck down those acceleration shock blasts, and you don't want to be walking up to
look at the Nexus area.
Wow, a lot of damage coming out. Will Floater and Valkyrie be able to hold this one in? Death Sentence nearly lands onto Valkyrie. Lots of super minions running into the base now, and they're going to try to doom it out. Valkyrie nearly getting the upper hand, but he takes a Dark Sentence of saving Optimus' life. Let's take a look at the replay here, Chris.
Yeah, so a whole bunch of things happened in the past minute or so. So it all started out with Rebirth actually, trying to catch on to Saigon Fantastic 5, and because of this death sentence latching onto Waitier, it was just re-engage time for SF5 once again. QTV jumps in onto the fight, grabs the Dark Passage, go out there, and actually Yushin was the one that got caught out of control, but the Death Sentence lands again from Su to pull someone in, and you know, it's overall a very chaotic fight, but in the end, Rebirth still managing to get the defense down for themselves, but they did lose the second Nexus turret in the entire process.
They definitely did. The control over Baron though, SF5 wants to once again assert their vision control, assert their authority over this one, and they know that they can do it extremely fast. Double Blade of the Ruined King. For SF5 just means this Baron will just drop down in a matter of seconds. There we go, Su.
14,000 gold.
Yeah, gives the ticket of the Dark Passage to Optimus, and you know, SF5 here just playing the game extremely safely. They know what they have to do. They have already hit all their winning conditions. Optimus is so huge and he can just chunk anyone down. Oh my goodness, Wei-Jie actually going in. LY4 unable to get any sort of engage at all. Vera using those Strangle Songs, but with not much of effect. This is just going to be cleanup. Optimus here getting the double kill. Can he get a triple? It's not going to be the case though.
This is going to be game.
3 members down for the side of IG Rebirth. Saigon, Fantastic 5, blow up the Nexus and win the 3rd game of the night.
That's right, and even with Rebirth, we did see that glimpse of hope come in, and I thought that they could have pushed on to some of the advantages that they had earlier. So Saigon Fantastic 5, they had a very good game plan to come back from that one, and I have to say the series of Baron baits that they set up, those traps were the definitive game-changing moment, the defining moment of the game.
Su landed his death sentence time and time again. I mean, a lot of those fights started maybe because IG Rebirth was a little bit aggressive, but Su really landed those pinpoint snipes in terms of those death sentences, and he got those key targets. And once those key targets were down, such as Valkyrie or maybe even Floater, that fight was over for IG Rebirth. Yeah,
we don't have the MVP system over at the Garena Premier League, but if I have to crown one MVP in that game, it would definitely go to Su, because if you look at it, at the end, in the end screen score, you know, he went 3, 2, and 16. So 19 out of the 23 kill participation over here. So definitely making the picks happen, and of course creating the zones with the box as well. So for him to step up to the game and then carry through the game for Saigon Fantastic 5 is a very pleasant sight to see.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that was a fantastic game. SF5 really showing why they are the dominant favorites in this group as well, alongside their counterparts AHQ, their Taiwanese rivals AHQ. And of course, that will be it for game number 3. Do stay tuned. We have the 4th game of the night. It's going to be War Gods up against Marchi Esports. Chris has a long story to tell you about Marchi Esports.
Yes, I do.
But before that, let's go for a quick break while we kind of sort out our little storytelling time. So we will be right back.